right, we're back again with another episode of Roofer Reflections. I'm really excited to have Alison here from the NRCA and the Roofing Alliance, and Dr. Dhaval Gajjar as well. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us today.
Maybe I can start with Dr. Gajjar. How did this start? I know you have a bit of a roofing background.
I had some roofing background before I decided to come and teach at Clemson University. I was doing a graduate studies at Arizona State University in construction management. And as part of the graduate studies, you have to pick a thesis topic. At that time, one of the manufacturers in the roofing industry reached out to my advisor on doing some projects related to roofing materials. And of course, I needed a project, and he, and I was there working. So he said, "This is your project," and that's how I got introduced to roofing. And I fell in love with it right away. I never knew that roofing had such diverse, sort of content and diverse knowledge, and all the different types of materials and all the different career paths. So when I went from my master's to PhD, I decided to do roofing as my PhD topic as well. And as part of that, one of my jobs was to do roof inspections for around 4 or 5 years. So I traveled around the country and collecting roofing samples and jumping on roofs all over the country. So that's how I got introduced to roofing. And then, went to the owner side, worked as an owner rep, building movie theaters, and then worked also as a general contractor, project manager. So got a whole host of experience before coming to Clemson. And one of the things, that I realized after coming to Clemson in their construction management program, and this is true all across the board in other CM schools as well, that there's a good education that we give our workforce, our future construction workforce, on what is the construction industry from the general contractor's perspective. But we hardly talked about roofing. Maybe roofing was talked about for maybe 30 minutes. In the whole curriculum, and that includes undergraduate, master's, and doctorate. And so that had to change because I was so passionate about our industry. I loved our industry, and I decided that we need to do justice by bringing our industry forth and forward to all the CM students. And that's when I met the Roofing Alliance, and that was the start of this collaboration back in 2018.
Wow. Alison, fill us in. I know you've been part of the roofing industry a very long time, contributing a ton. Walk me through your side.
Yeah, I've been in the industry 30 plus years and heavily involved with the Alliance the last 4 to 5. And I remember when Dhaval came to the first meeting, this was kind of a big step for us at the Roofing Alliance and just in the industry, really trying to visualize and envision curriculum at the university level and what that would look like. And even if it was adopted at Clemson, the next step is Clemson's wonderful and probably the best partner we've had, but how do you get that word out right to the rest of the university? So it was a much larger project really when you envisioned it long term. Dhaval made a really compelling presentation and talked about the steps. And what was interesting was that once we got on board with the first class, which was roofing fundamentals, sort of the introduction, but very thorough introduction. I don't want anyone to think that it's just, only the basics. It really gets into a lot of good topics and a lot of good guest speakers too are part of that curriculum. But then the vision was then to take it to the next step and the next step. And as you'll hear as we talk about this, we're 3 classes in, right? There are 3 electives at Clemson. And as I was sharing with you just a little bit earlier, although we're partnering and collaborating with Clemson, which has been truly wonderful, the Roofing Alliance owns the curriculum. And so now we are educating faculty and sharing that. So this curriculum is available to any CM program at the university level, for community colleges, 2-year institutions, however you want to look at it. And it's available, and we're educating the faculty so that when they get the curriculum, they can take it and implement it, right? And again, guest speakers from the industry are available. We connect schools with guest speakers. So the whole collaboration has just been, honestly, when you say beyond like the wildest dreams, right, than what we envisioned back in 2018-19, to be where we are today. And the work's not done. We're moving forward with a 4th class in 25, which we'll be talking about, I'm sure, here. So it's just been a partnership. There's between 10 and 13 schools that are using parts of this program. Some have implemented more than the first class. Clemson, like I said, it has all 3. And I just talked to somebody at Arizona State today, and the fall class sold out in minutes. And they've got guest speakers coming in Monday to talk about roofing career paths. So whoever we talk to, it's just been, very successful.
Wonderful. Dhaval, Alison was saying that it's extremely popular and been sort of overfilled with the classes that you have. What's been your experience?
Like Alison mentioned, when we came up with sort of our first roofing course back in 2018-19, the big question was, great, we want to come up with this course, but what do we actually talk about in this course, right? I mean, so what are the topics? And coming up with a college course takes years of preparation, but this was such an urgency that we only had about a year and a half to sort of put this together, the first roofing course. We need to fulfill the needs of the industry, which is workforce. And so we said, let's go out to the roofing industry and ask, what would you like us to cover? And so we actually extensively spent about 8 to 10 months just understanding what are the needs of the industry. And as part of this study, which was sort of like a research study, the industry told us that we need to cover about 25 to 30 topics that kept coming up when we talked to the manufacturing, distribution, construction, and legal, and all the other sectors of the industry. So we said, we can't cover 25 to 30 topics in 4 months, which is one semester. So let's take the top 10 and make that into our curriculum. And the beautiful thing about this was it was truly a collaboration with the industry. Like Alison mentioned, this is not a one man or one person effort. This was truly where the entire roofing industry came together and put their hands together to come in and give us the content. They would come in my classrooms as guest lecturers. And so that's how the content came about. So really, this was created by the industry for the industry. And we were just the means to connect the workforce to the industry. That's all we were doing. So now back to your question, when we offered the first roofing course, we're like, who's going to sign up, right? The title has roofing in it, We were happy with 4 to 5 students. But the interesting thing happened. The first time we offered this, we had 23 students sign up for the course. And we're amazed by that number. And so when we went back and talked to the students, because we do a lot of surveys and a lot of talking to the students who sign up for these courses, one of the most common feedback was we were just curious to see what this industry was all about. Because traditionally in a construction management school, we talk a lot about at the general contractor level, but there's very few curriculum that is focused at a specific sector level. And so they were just very interested and curious to learn more about the roofing industry. The other aspect that they loved was how we're going to have industry professionals come into the classroom. And that's probably one of the favorite aspects of all these courses. And that's been the highlight, is bringing professionals all over the country to come and talk to the students. And they love that. They love hearing from seasoned professionals. They love hearing all the failures and challenges and the successes. So really it became a true collaborative environment. So those are the few things I would say, that really made this class special. And like Alison mentioned, at ASU, it's full. We are offering, actually, as we speak this semester, we're offering that first course again, because we cycled through the 3 courses. We have 65 students this semester. And after the roofing course, the next highest course is probably a required course, which is about 35 students. So we don't have any classes about 35, except for the roofing course. So this has taken off to a whole different level. And, really, this is a dream that has come into reality. And again, it's taken a lot of work, but it's also taken a lot of effort from the whole industry to come together to offer this.
And now I got me curious. What are some of the top 10 things that came onto the top?
So really, the top 10 that came about was really having the knowledge of, what are the different types of roofing systems that are available in the market today. So that was one of the topics where, understanding of what are the different assemblies and how they are put together, what's the attachment methods, what to install which roofing system in what sort of climates. So we spent extensively about 6 weeks in our first course just talking about the types of roofing systems. The next thing that came very closely, which we can all anticipate, was safety in the roofing industry. So we cover extensively the safety in that first class as well. The other aspect was some of the different how does a supply chain in the roofing industry work? Who are the key players in the industry? And then estimating was one that came up consistently, not only on the contracting side, but also on the manufacturing distribution. How do we do quantity takeoffs? How do we estimate projects? Maintenance was a huge, topic that came, which was, how to do some maintenance on the roofing systems to maintain our roofing systems. Scheduling, how do we schedule projects, right? So those were some of the key things that came up in the top 10 that became the core of our course number 1. And then to go in number 2 and 3, the second course was more focused on the technical details of the actual roofing industry, such as building codes in roofing, how to navigate codes, sustainability, resiliency aspects of the roofing industry, field crew management, risk management, how does roofing interact with different building envelope systems, how to read details, how to read specs, how to read blueprints. So those were the sort of things that are covered in number 2. And then number 3, the industry really wanted to educate the workforce on how to be a leader. And so number 3 is focused on, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be that business person working in the roofing industry, because that is very critical to have that skill, not only the technical skills, but also have the leadership and the business skills to be working in the roofing industry. So all this, combined has become now 3 courses. We have a 9-credit certificate program where we have all the students go through at least one of the roofing courses, and all 3 for some of them, where they can get a certificate not only from the state and Clemson University, but also from the Alliance. So it's become truly a hallmark program of our department nationally and for other universities as well.
So if someone hears this and is excited about numerous ways, who should they contact? What should they do?
Well, I think either contacting me personally through the Roofing Alliance, or if they're in a conversation, Dhaval, probably best to start with me. I'm pretty much available 24/7. I'm always around, but contacting me or Dhaval at Clemson is the best way to go. We're more than happy to correspond with you or get on calls like we're doing here. Dhaval and I were just on a call yesterday with one of our members, really trying to talk to him about how these classes can really help with their training efforts. And we've had a lot of members adopted already too. So it's just been great.